Images do not speak, not out loud. I distance myself from the printed rectangle to consider it as a whole, a separate entity in separate existence.
No. Try again.
I only just started.
I know. Start again.
Images do not speak, not out loud.
Stop there. Think. Continue.
Not out loud. In silence, they unveil themselves to us.
That's better.
The image doesn't change. Its silence entices us to look further, to look deeper. We see an interior, brown and gray and black and blue. We see a man singular, a wipe of the eye, a tissue in the left hand, yet no emotion or little emotion.
Stay on track.
Books, small artifacts, a painting, brown and gray and black and blue. The carpet decorated and thus decorative. Sandals, a bathrobe. Comfort, I guess.
Why?
Why what?
Why the comfort?
Intimacy dominates. Not romantically, no. The man alone. The tissue, small, frail, but central. The garments, informal and casual. And even the space, private.
What does that mean?
Comfort, I think. That's what I said. Comfort, but potentially not an easy type of comfort.
You're losing me.
It feels calm, but I don't know why. Kind of happy, sad, or melancholy maybe, but then not as sad. What static feels like?
Static means not moving.
Static means still. To be still does not inherently hurt, nor does it intrinsically excite.
But it can hurt, and it can excite.
Exactly.
Now apply that.
It feels calm, static. Like the morning after the night where history ended. A sense of turbulence, flux, and action remains in the air, but it has lost its vibrancy. It is no longer active. As they say, the dust has settled. The trampling shook the ground up, revealed the dust it held within it, but now the dust has settled. It has settled, it has been broomed into a pile, swept to the side, collected, transported, eliminated. There's not really a point in doing anything anymore now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I disagree.
Of course, that's what you do.
I see what you're telling me,
But
I believe it necessary to see this as more than a depiction of what is past. It is still recent. Yesterday's turbulence, as you describe, it is still there. The emotion you say it lacks is full on display.
you're not wrong. The turbulence and emotion are so clearly visible. Not because they're still there, but because you know they were there. You must see that too.
It feels too recent.
Okay, you can think that that's what autonomy is all about.
Don't give up so easily.
Make me keep going then.
You need to convince me. You haven't. Listen, I don't agree with you, and I will not change my mind because you haven't told me why I should care enough to do so.
You should care. I think you already do. You might not be aware of it. You might know it perfectly well, but neglect it. But the fact that we have this interaction sprouted from nothing more than looking at this image implies that you care. And I do too. I care for the ambiguity, for the mystery. I care for the attempts at understanding it, unraveling it. I care for the failure to write the story, the inability to pronounce its identity, the egoistic struggle to claim its meaning. I care for my awareness of my distance from the image, from its creator, from its subject. I care for the opportunity to tell myself that I may not be right. And I care for the fact that I tell myself to listen to other interpretations, your interpretation.
You're right, in a way.
In what way?
I too care.
I asked you, in what way?
I thought I was the one asking the questions.
I guess things change.
I care for the ability to see the image, to talk about it, contemplate it, question it, for the arguments about it, for the emotion it entices to arise.
Because?
Because ultimately, it's not my story, nor is it yours.
Convince me.
Okay.
Dear, I hope you're well. This is a letter for you, initially constructed through the wordless verbalities our minds used to communicate with themselves, and now translated into tangibility. So, take it all in. Your eyes, your gently restless eyes, twitch at the dissonant sound of the multitude of chattering voices behind me. Or maybe it's the eternal baritone hum of the city that drags your vision away from the here and now and away from me. The yellow, the blue, green, and gray fixate, move, reposition, and travel further, never quite settling and never reaching a final destination. And still, discomfort doesn't rule. It doesn't appear to, at least. You never stop learning, you never sit still. Always in the process of getting to the next part, the next section. You take it all in. Maybe you're trying to do just that. Maybe you're the only one that sees those details we so often miss. Maybe you don't even realize the attention for the peculiarities, for the individualities of the world around us that exists in your mind. Lay your restless eyes to rest sometimes, but take it all in. And I'll try to do the same. With love.
You color me gold, lips like petals on my throat. those fingertips like paintbrush strokes, paper boats softly float like a song we wrote. But summer comes and summer goes. You change your hair, you change your clothes. The books you read help you explore the world that you believed in once before. You color me in gold, kiss the freckles on my nose with those blood red pomegranate lips, taking sips hand on hip. Your face could launch 1,000 ships. But winter comes and brings the snow. You change your job, you change your home. Still reading books about the coast of a world you can't believe in anymore. And after all you've been nothing but good to me. And the only way that I can pay you back is the day they seek those distant memories while I'm standing next to you. So when springtime comes and blossoms grow, come take my hand, can we expose the hideaways, the hidden doors, the stories we believed in, the land that we both dreamed in once before. You color me in gold.
In my dreams, I hardly exist. Scenes and situations occur and surround me, convolutely thrill or drown me, but often remain obliviously blind to my presence and deaf to my inaction. In my dreams, I hardly exist as an active entity, a figure that inflicts and is inflicted upon. No, in my dreams, I hardly act or undertake, and yet I revel and suffer. I may not move, but I am to be moved. In In my dream world, I tend to be a strictly observational fly on the wall with an extended emotional capacity. Extended compared to other flies, of course. Sometimes I feel like an intruder within my own unconsciousness. I overhear the conversations between the figments of my own imagination and may feel the guilt of an involuntary eavesdropper. I wish to preemptively unhear, but realize that this apparent introspective espionage directly resulted from the closing of my eyes. Who knows what covering my ears might lead to? The observational viewpoint then might bring about a surprise in the realization that my dreams are not particularly eventful. Scenes very much within the ordinary may stretch far into the distorted time that is still to come. Sometimes, every now and then, the figures concocted in the ever-active brain of my dormant body even reflect on this banality. Like the unrecognizable figure, neither young nor old, friendly nor hostile, who exclaimed into the great uneventfulness a question. How may I bore you? Can I take a second of your time, perhaps even a few? I'll give you nothing in return. No excitement, no stimulation, no fresh breath, no jubilation. I ask, how may I bore you? Can I claim an instance, just one or two? I won't raise comfort nor concern. Is there space for me and you, with room to leave the stones unturned? Is movement required for attention, and should I care for that of yours? Don't we discern a forum there for tension, in silence, never static nor uniform? When absence claims the loudest voice we never hear, the anticipation overrules the climax after it occurs. And there, with our expectations made muddled and so unclear, we spontaneously start to notice, to observe, to see. In our fear of what's unknown, our senses start to zing. How can I prepare for the imminent future, that event, person, that thing? The wait is only perceived as transitory because we expect a shift in one way or another. Its naturally neutral state of being becomes a state of in-betweenness and is ascribed traits of imperfection, incompletion, until the thing happens and it fleets. I wonder what happens when the anticipation centers as the locus of our inquiry, when the wait becomes the event, and the event becomes the disruption. Do we start to notice the peculiarities of the lives we live? Can we transpose our various experiences of attraction from those things that pass to those things that continue to be? Will we think of the contemporary as the past or the future? Will you suddenly know what it is to truly care? Will I ever look you in the eyes again? Can I